Hey guys, welcome to another of my Mrs. Bond's tutorial videos. Today I'm going to teach you a quick little crash course on the basics of Schoology. I am recording this from my classroom, so if my door opens, forgive me if I have to greet somebody. So this is my basic Schoology sandbox. You're going to be doing a lot of your work today in the sandbox. The sandbox is going to last for the whole school year, so it's best to start in the sandbox. Basically, the sandbox can be like your rough draft. As you're writing a paper for like a college course or something, you're going to start with a rough draft, you're going to finish it, polish it, and then you're going to turn in your final paper, your final project, and put that in your Schoology class or your Schoology course. So you definitely want to use your sandbox while you're developing everything. That way the students don't see your rough draft and your work as you're going. So you definitely want to get used to using this Schoology sandbox. So in my Schoology sandbox, let me go back to the main page. I have a couple of extra things here. The main thing that you're going to want to set up is these two down here that say course content. I teach two classes. I teach pre-algebra and algebra 1. So I have two course contents here. If you teach a gifted, you may want to consider having a gifted folder, but you definitely don't need to. So in that course content folder, this is where you're going to start building your units. I went ahead and I'm organizing mine by units. That way each unit has one single folder. So we're going to take a look into this unit folder, but before we do, I want to talk about how I labeled the folders. So this first folder is labeled Unit 1, and then it's the topic of what we study in Unit 1. I also put down here the date. So it says September 16th through the 25th. Those are the dates that I plan to teach that unit. I also put here for my kids the 3 basic skills that they're going to learn. So the main 3 things that we're going to do in the unit. Maybe you have 4, maybe you have 2. It's up to you. I did put them in student-friendly language. That way it's not overbearing. You definitely don't want to have a page or a wall of text for them to get stuck at before they even click into the unit. So let's go ahead and click into our unit folder. And I've got a lot of different folders here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a finished product or a sample product. That way you know what we're building, and then we'll go back and we'll talk about the tools that I use to build this sample. So the first thing that I'm going to look at is this day 1 folder. So it's this yellow folder right here. So for instance, in this sample unit, I'm going to be starting to teach on Wednesday, September 16th. That's going to be my day 1 of the unit. So I labeled that folder day 1, Wednesday, 9/16. I did go ahead and color code my folders. So every Wednesday is this yellow color. So if I scroll down here, you can see day 6 down here at the bottom is also a yellow folder. I tried to do that for the students. That way every Monday they're looking for a red folder. Every Tuesday they're looking for the orange folder. It just kind of helps with that organization. Organization is going to be huge on Schoology. All right, so I started with my day 1 folder. I labeled it what day of the week it's going to be and the date. In the information box, I put a little to-do list, a short little snippet of what the students are going to have to do in order to be counted as they've done everything they need to do for the day. We definitely want to keep those tasks nice and small. I've found that you want to keep it to no more than 5 things. 5 things seems to be a manageable number for middle schoolers. Maybe in the younger grades, you want to go with a smaller list. Keep it manageable and bite-sized. So day 1 on Wednesday, my students have to do 4 things. They have to read the Unit 1 intro. They have to watch the video or attend my live class because this is a synchronous day for math. They have to complete the notes that go with the video or the class and then submit their homework. So they're doing 4 things. Let's take a look at our day 1 folder and you can see what they're going to be looking at. So the day 1 folder has all of the items inside of it. You'll notice there's only 3 pages for 4 things. We'll talk about why there's 3 things. So we're going to start here with the Unit 1 intro. This page is just a quick little overview of what the course might look like. So it's got some cute little pictures in here. That way it's not all black and white. I told them what we're going to be studying. I told them how long our unit's going to last and when they're going to have their test. Now that information is not correct. I have to update it because we haven't picked a test date yet, but I did throw some dates in there so you could see what it would look like. I also went ahead and I cut and paste all of our I-CANs for the unit. I found these in our math curriculum guide. I'm not sure what other subjects use, but you can definitely cut and paste them from wherever you've got them. But it definitely helps give focus to the unit. By the time the students take the test, they should be able to do all of these things. So that's our Unit 1 intro. This is only going to happen once per unit, but it kind of focuses the kids. It gets them to realize, okay, we're starting our next unit of study. One of the great things that I love about Schoology, unlike Google Classroom would force the students, they would hand them 25 or 26 things, and it would say, good luck, do it in whatever order you want. Schoology does not do that. Schoology, we have the benefit of the next button, which is up here in the top corner. The next button, what it's going to do is it's going to force students to take your lessons in the order you would present them in the classroom. So like this Unit 1 intro, we started by introducing our topics. That's kind of like, think about it as a unit warm up or something like that. When they click the next button, they're going to be taken to my video or my lesson page. This would be when I'm actually presenting content in a class. So I've got some cutesy little font here, some fun pictures, just to make it a little bit more interesting. I did go ahead and talk about I talked about what we're going to be learning. So today we're talking about the real number system, gave them a couple little definitions, just kind of a segue into the lesson. Now, as you scroll down, you'll notice there's an embedded YouTube video. I'll show you how to do that a little bit later in the video. But if you wanted to, now my plan is I'm going to replace that with my self-teaching because I like the way that I teach it better than this YouTube video. But for right now, the YouTube video does a good stand-in. Students can click play and watch the video right there in Schoology. They don't have to open YouTube separately. It's very nice. Then down here at the bottom, there is a PDF that the students can either view or download. And that's going to be those notes that we're filling out in the video. If a student wants to print them out and follow along, they can, or they can have them open and take some notes on some notebook paper at home. So that's going to be our lesson video. I do have in the directions of my course that if this particular lesson would be a synchronous video, so they wouldn't have to watch this video if they attended the synchronous class. However, it's here for them. If they miss something in the live class or anything like that, they can come back and watch it. So I'm going to go ahead, scroll back up to the top and click the next button because we're pretending like we're a student. The student has either watched the video, attended the class, and completed the notes. They're ready for the next step of the course. So we're going to click to the next button. And what you're going to see is a homework assignment. I've labeled it as homework 1-1. The reason I use that, this is Unit 1, Day 1. Definitely keep that organization. It's going to be so helpful when you're designing your courses and when students are completing your course. So for this particular assignment, they were given a PDF right here. It says homework 1-1. They can either download the PDF and print it and then upload a photo or a scan, or we're going to use Kami. Now, you may have a different type of assignment that you want to use here. It's very versatile and it uses a lot of different programs, work well with it. If you notice right now, I'm looking at it from the teacher side because I don't have students in my classroom yet, so I can't add it. But there's this box over here that says submissions. On the student end, there's going to be an upload button there. So if they complete the homework in a PDF form, they can then upload the PDF back to you. If they do Kami or any other program, it's going to let them submit directly through Kami or those other programs. But that submission box is where they're going to upload whatever they're turning in. We're going to click the next button. Now, when I click the next button, it's going to take me to Day 2. You can set it up when you assign these courses that on Wednesday, the Wednesday folder appears. On Thursday, the Thursday folder appears. I'm clicking to the next one because I have the teacher's version so I can see everything, but the student wouldn't be able to until you allow them. So now we're looking at the Thursday folder. So in the Thursday folder, there are 4 items. The first one is going to be the answer key to last night's homework. That way they can see the answer key and they can check it live. So I'll show you what that looks like. They can either view it or download it. You could also import it as a picture if you just want them to see it as a picture. That way they don't have to download it. Same thing, like I said earlier, we're going to click that next button, which is going to take us into the next page. Now for math, Thursdays are asynchronous. So this is an example of one of my not live or my asynchronous classes. So what I've got here is I've got that same directions. Here's what we're going to be doing today. The kids are going to be making a foldable. I have a video here. Again, that's not my video. It will be before I'm done. But a video of the foldable that we're going to be making. So the kids are going to watch a short little 5 or 10 minute video on how to make this foldable. They're going to make the foldable on their own and then submit it for a classwork grade. If you notice, I did put those directions here. You always want to be clear with your students what the expectation is going to be. So I'm making it clear you're going to make this foldable and you're going to turn it in on the next screen. Again, they can watch the YouTube video right in the Schoology. They don't have to do anything else. And then I also have a PDF version, of the foldable in case they want to start with a PDF, or in the directions I said they could do it on notebook paper or copy paper at home, whatever they had available to them. So we're going to pretend like as a student, I've watched through this video, I've done the foldable, I'm ready to go to the next slide. So when I go to the next screen, it asks me to upload my foldable or to take a picture of my foldable. There are 3 options down here at the bottom. There's the PDF version. There's a document version so the kids could type on it if they wanted to, or again, that Cami. All 3 of which they're going to submit over here in the submissions box. It'll say upload or turn your work in. I forget the exact verbiage, so forgive me. But it'll be here. And then as a teacher, as they fill those in, you're going to start to see Johnny turned in this or Billy Bob turned that in, and then you can view exactly what they turned in to give them a grade. This assignment feature that we're looking at now, it is just like if a student were to turn in a worksheet to you. You are going to have to review the worksheet and grade it like that. The computer's not going to grade this type of assignment for you. We'll talk about a self-grading assignment in just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and click the next button. And now my students are taken to the homework page. So they just did the notes, they turned in their classwork, and now they've got a homework assignment. Same thing as the homework assignment before, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. What I am going to do is go back to my unit homepage. So this is the unit page. This is all of those days worth of assignments. If you notice, Thursday, day 2, which we just went through, we had 3 things. We had to watch the video, create and submit the real number systems foldable, and we had to submit that homework 1-2. We looked at all 3 of those screens and we did all 3 of those things. So we are ready to go to day 3. I'm not going to go through all of the days here with you because you don't need to see all that. Day 3 would be asynchronous, so it's very similar to day 1. What I am going to do is I'm going to skip down here to day 5. Now, day 5, I did have them do a graded classwork. This particular graded classwork is going to be based out of the assessment feature on Schoology. I did it as an assessment, that way it would self-grade. If you already have a Google form or a Synergy test or quiz or classwork, you can put them into Schoology. Don't feel like you have to recreate the wheel and retype them into Schoology. However, if you have a worksheet that you want to make digital, definitely get used to putting them in Schoology. Schoology is very user-friendly for writing an assessment, so it definitely helps out. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the main unit page because I don't want you to have to look through my whole worksheet. It would be kind of boring for everybody who's not a math person. But that's the only thing they have to do on that particular day is complete that graded classwork. They don't have to watch a video. They're just completing that graded classwork for some extra practice. On day 6, I wanted to show you guys that. I'm having them complete 3 Kahoot games live in class. So I'll share my screen like I'm doing with you guys. And then show them those review games, let them play from home. That way it prepares them for their test. They'll have a homework, and then they can complete the test on an asynchronous course day. So that's kind of what my class looks like. You can see that. I want to share with you before I show you the tools, kind of how I came up with my unit. So what I did on a piece of paper was I started out and I figured out how many days I wanted this unit to take. In this particular case, I just started with 8 days. I didn't want to put too much in there. I was just playing around with it. But maybe let's say our first unit we'll say is 8 days like this one. And what I did was I started from the finish line and I said, okay, well, if the last day of the unit is going to be my test day, where do I need to go from here? So if the last day is test day, the day before that's going to be a review. And then I figured out what I needed to teach between now and then, just like you would in a regular classroom. Just be careful and strategic about which days are synchronous and which days are asynchronous, because you want to make sure those asynchronous activities are activities the students can complete by themselves. So now that I know on a piece of paper exactly what each of my days are going to look like. Now, use some shorthand, write day 10 test, day 1 notes, and figure that sort of thing out. Maybe you want to write a note about what you're going to be teaching on day 1. Once you have that, go ahead and build these folders. Build out your folders and say, day 1, we're going to be talking about the real number system. Day 2, they're going to practice and build those folders out. Once you build those folders out, it makes it a much more manageable job to plan your lessons. You can look at one day at a time and really plan out those lessons very well. So now let's talk about the tools that I used in order to create each of these assignments. So up here at the top is going to be your add materials. That's how you're going to start your courses and how you're going to start to build all of this stuff. So let's click add materials. The first button that you can click is called add folder. This is how you're going to build those day folders, those unit folders, those course folders. Those folders are wonderful. I'm going to click it and show you what it looks like. In add folder, there's all kinds of colors up here. You can color coordinate it. If you wanted to make it the Monday folder, you would type up here Monday, so we can call it whatever we want to. We can color it red, and then this is where I put those to-dos, or you can think about it as your ILOs, whatever you want to put in the description area. That's where I put my to-do list, okay? So I'm going to cancel that because I don't want to add it to my course. The next thing that comes up is this add an assignment. Add an assignment is going to be an upload button, basically. That's where the students can upload their homework, upload classworks, that sort of thing. If you want the students to complete an assignment that is not self-grading, remember that. If it is not self-grading, you're going to add an assignment. That would be homework, that would be classwork, any kind of worksheet that you just want to hand them a worksheet and then have them turn in. Don't use this unless you want it to create like a graded column in your gradebook. Next is going to be add test/quiz. Now, I think in the Schoology modules, they talked about the fact that there are 2 test buttons. There's an add test quiz and add assessment. I've used both of them and I made a test in both of them. And I can tell you from experience, the add test and quiz is very limited in the features that it has, and it's really hard to use. So I don't use that button. I don't prefer it. I would prefer to use the add an assessment. However, you could do it. Play around with it, see which one you like more. So definitely make your own decision, but I think add an assessment is a lot better. Add an assessment is more like TestNav, the software we use to take SOL tests. You can set it up so that way students can't go back. You can add cross-out features. There's all kinds of TEIs in there. Add an assessment is very user-friendly. I'm not going to make the video about add an assessment because it's, like I said, very user-friendly, and you can go in there and create an assessment very easily. Definitely when you have some time, try that add an assessment. The next button that we're going to talk about is add a file, link, or external tool. This would be great if you want to just hand them a PDF. So maybe you just want to give them the notes ahead of time. You want to say, here's the notes for tomorrow, boom, and there's the link. It would also be great if you're doing a web quest. If you want students to go and click on this web quest and then they're going to fill out a worksheet based on an internet article or something like that. If you use a third party as a grading service, such as maybe Google Forms, or you use Edulastic, I've heard lots of different programs that people like to use. That would be a good one. I use this add a link for my Kahoots because that's going to take you to the Kahoot website, so that way it pulls those up. That's what that's really good for. The next one is add a discussion. I didn't put add a discussion into my course, my sample course, because I wanted, I know math can be kind of difficult to talk about, but add a discussion is a great feature. We use those in summer school and they really are very successful. You can set up an add a discussion, let me click it here, where the student has to write a comment on the discussion board before they can respond to another student. So when we scroll down here, all the way to the bottom, forgive me, we scroll all the way to the bottom. Down here, there is a button that says members can see other responses before participating. Right now, they can see all of the answers. So if the question is, what's your favorite color? They can see all the other students who've responded. If I click that, it's going to require the members to post before they can see everyone else's. So it holds the integrity of the discussion board. They're not just going to copy and paste one another's answers. That's a really nice feature that we had turned on for summer school, and the kids really enjoyed it because they can write their own opinion and then see what the other students had to say about it. All right, so we're going to keep going with add materials. We have add a page. This is my favorite button. And the reason I like add a page is just like opening a Word document. You can do anything in here that you can do in a Word document. This is what I used for my lesson pages where we have those videos and the notes. I can link things. It's really easy. So add a page is just going to bring you up that Word document. So we can call it, we'll call it the lesson page. And then in here, we can type test lesson page. You can type whatever you want. Like I said, just like a Word document. You can even go in here and bold it. You can change it to larger font, all kinds of things. But in this page, we can also do inserted content. So we can go like this and click insert content. You can add an image. You can add an equation. I know my math people like that we can math type, but you can also add a Google Drive resource. So maybe you want to link to your PowerPoint or you want to link to a document. You can do that there. Or this is where you're going to embed that YouTube video. You're going to click YouTube. You're going to get a warning that says, remember, it's third-party content. You need to review it ahead of time. And you can post your links right in here and embed that way. Excuse me. If you have a document already on your computer, so you've got it on your hard drive on your computer, you can go down here to File and upload the file that way. Or you can go in here through the links or resources, that sort of thing. There's all kinds of stuff down here. You can also, what's really great with Schoology, you can add a video or an audio recording directly to the pages. So you want to audio record this because you've got a student who has vision problems, but they can hear okay. You can also do that with your assessments for read aloud. It's awesome. And then again, I'm not going to create the page because this is a sample. Okay, so we're going to keep on going down. The next one is add a media album. I personally haven't played with that. I haven't found a reason to use it. So we're going to put that off on the back burner and we're going to call that an advanced skill. Same thing with add a package. That's also more of an advanced skill that I'm going to leave kind of for a later time. The last one is going to be import from resources. I know I'm speaking about math. I'm not really sure what the other courses have, but in math, we have a resource group that has some materials already made for us that we can start importing. If you have something like that, a resource group, or you are importing something from, like, if we're 2 years, 3 years down the line, you made something a while back that you want to import, you can import it that way. Again, that's more of an advanced tool, so we're going to save that for another day. There are a lot more advanced tools. I might make another video shortly for you guys so you can see some more of the advanced tools, including how to assign to specific students, how to do the publication dates and all that sort of stuff. But I did want to give you just a crash course on how to build your units. Definitely my biggest tip to everybody is work on the organization. Once you have it organized, it's going to write itself. It's really going to help you write your units, write your lessons the right way. And then my second piece of advice is to stick with it. Have faith, take the jump, just start playing around in your sandboxes. You can't do it wrong. Anything you would do in your classroom, we can do in your Schoology sandbox. Whether it's a gallery walk, a PowerPoint, anything like that, you can make work in your Schoology classroom. You're just going to have to play with it and figure out how to make it work. If you have any questions, you guys know I'm always here to answer any questions or that sort of thing. If you want to see any specific skills, if you have an idea, you're like, oh, I really want to do a gallery walk, but I can't figure out how to make it work, shoot me an email and I will see what I can do to help you, okay? I hope this video helped you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a good one.